Welcome to the Forbidden Codex. Tonight, we unseal a truth that has been buried under the weight of centuries. For thousands of years, certain texts were kept in the shadows, hidden from the eyes of the common world. But why? What were the authorities so afraid of? Tonight, we dive deep into the most controversial book in human history, the Book of Enoch. This is not just an ancient story, it is a record of a forgotten reality, a world where the boundary between heaven and earth was shattered. We will speak of the Watchers, those celestial beings who defied the Creator. We will speak of the Nephilim, the giants who walked among men, and the corruption that followed in their wake. History as you know it is an incomplete puzzle, but today we provide the missing pieces. Open your mind, leave your preconceptions behind, for the Codex is open and the secrets of the ancients are about to be revealed. For nearly 2,000 years, the Book of Enoch was considered lost, a ghost of a forgotten era. But history has a way of returning to the light. In 1947, in the desolate and silent desert of the Dead Sea, a simple discovery changed everything. Inside the dark, limestone caves of Qumran, ancient jars were found by chance. Within them lay the scrolls that would shake the foundations of modern theology. Among these fragments of history was the Book of Enoch, written in a language that whispered of the beginning of time. It was a discovery that the world was not prepared for. For centuries, the church and the scholars had excluded this text from the canon. They called it apocryphal, they called it dangerous. But why bury a book that was once quoted by the apostles themselves? What did these scrolls contain that was so threatening to the established order? The desert finally gave up its secret, and the truth could no longer be silenced. To understand the message, we must first understand the messenger. Enoch proceeds from Adam, a figure of immense mystery, who appears only briefly in the book of Genesis. It is said that Enoch walked with God, and then he was no more. He did not taste death, he was simply taken. But where did he go? The Book of Enoch gives us the answer that the Bible omits. He was not just a prophet, he was a cosmic witness, a man chosen to be the scribe of the heavens. He was taken beyond the clouds, through the gates of fire, and into the very architecture of the universe. He saw the movement of the stars, the prisons of the fallen, and the judgment of the end times. He was tasked with a heavy burden to record the sins of the celestial beings and the destiny of humanity. Enoch was the bridge between the human and the divine, a man who saw things no other mortal eyes were ever meant to see. This is his testimony, the record of a journey that transcends time and space. Picture an age from a time long before our history began. According to the Book of Enoch, 200 angels, known as the Watchers, looked down upon the earth and were captivated by its beauty. They were not looking with love, but with a hunger that would destroy the order of creation. On the summit of Mount Hermon, they gathered in secret. Their leader, Semyaza, feared that he alone would pay the price for this transgression. So he forced them all to bind themselves to a dark and bloody pact. They made a covenant, swearing that they would not turn back until their mission was complete. They descended not as messengers of light, but as deserters of the celestial realm. This was the first great conspiracy, the moment when the sons of God decided to become the masters of men. They abandoned their holy station and their eternal dwelling to pursue the flesh of mortals. The mountain still bears the name of that curse, for Hermon means anathema. From that moment on, the world was no longer under the protection of heaven. It was under the shadow of the fallen. The Watchers did not come empty-handed. They brought with them secrets that were never meant for human minds. This was the original forbidden fruit, a flood of knowledge that accelerated the corruption of the human soul. Azazel, one of the most powerful among them, taught men the art of war. He showed them how to forge swords, shields, and breastplates, turning brothers into enemies. He taught them how to extract metals and the hidden secrets of the earth. But it wasn't just violence. They taught women the secrets of vanity, the use of makeup, and the art of seduction to mirror the celestial beauty. Others revealed the movements of the stars, the signs of the zodiac, and the dark enchantments of the moon. This was not enlightenment, it was a trap. Humanity suddenly possessed the tools of gods, but lacked the divine wisdom to use them. The world became a laboratory of chaos, where the sacred was replaced by the artificial. The knowledge of the angels became the shackles of mankind, leading them further away from their Creator and deeper into the darkness of their own desires. But the greatest sin was yet to come. The Watchers chose for themselves wives from among the daughters of men. This was not just a violation of law, it was a violation of nature itself. From these unnatural unions, a new race was born, a race known as the Nephilim. These were the giants of old, beings of immense stature and insatiable hunger. They were hybrids, half spirit and half flesh. The Book of Enoch describes them as monstrous, reaching heights that defied belief. At first, they consumed the labor of men, but when the earth could no longer sustain them, they turned on humanity itself. They were predators who viewed the world as their hunting ground. The blood of the innocent began to cry out from the soil. The presence of the Nephilim was a cancer that threatened to consume every living thing on the planet. They were the physical manifestation of the rebellion in heaven. Their existence was an abomination, a mistake in the fabric of reality that could only be stopped by the total destruction of the world as they knew it. The era of the giants had begun, and with it, the end of all things. As the Nephilim grew, the earth began to groan under their weight. These were not just large men, they were biological anomalies with an appetite that knew no bounds. They consumed the crops, the animals, and eventually the humans themselves. The world had become a slaughterhouse. The screams of the dying and the prayers of the desperate rose up like smoke toward the heavens. But the corruption was not just physical, it was spiritual. The Watchers had poisoned the very soul of humanity with their forbidden arts. The people were lost, trapped between the tyranny of the giants and the dark magic of the fallen angels. The harmony of creation was shattered. Even the animals were being crossbred, and the earth itself was defiled by the bloodshed. The cry of the innocent finally reached the ears of the Most High. The silence of heaven was about to be broken. The archangels looked down from the holy heights, and they saw a world that had become unrecognizable. Justice, long delayed, was finally preparing its descent. The Creator summoned the archangels, Michael, Gabriel, Raphael, and Uriel. Their mission was clear and absolute. Gabriel was sent to set the children of the Watchers against each other, inciting a civil war, until the giants destroyed themselves in a frenzy of blood. Michael was commanded to bind Samyaza and his companions in the dark valleys of the earth, where they would remain for 70 generations until the day of their final judgment. Raphael was sent to heal the earth and to cast Azazel into the darkness of the desert, buried under jagged rocks. The sentence was severe, for the crime was infinite. The Watchers pleaded for mercy. They begged for a chance to repent, but their request was denied. They had seen the light of heaven and chose the darkness of the earth. They were to watch as their children, the Nephilim, were slaughtered before their very eyes. The cosmic order had to be restored. The rebellion was over, but the scars on the world were deep. A radical purification was the only way to save the future of the human race. The ultimate cleansing was about to begin. The fountains of the great deep were broken open, and the windows of heaven were unleashed. This was not just a rainstorm, it was a global reset. The Book of Enoch reveals that the flood was necessary to wipe away every trace of the Nephilim's corruption. The colossal structures, the hybrid creatures, and the blood-soaked soil had to be washed away by the purifying waters. As the world was swallowed by the abyss, the secrets of the fallen were buried under leagues of water and silt. Only a small remnant was preserved to carry the light of humanity into a new era. The era of the giants ended in a cold, watery grave. But even as the flood waters receded, a haunting question remained. Was the corruption truly gone? The Book of Enoch warns that while the giants' bodies died, their spirits remained on earth as demons to plague the dreams and the souls of men. The world was clean, but the shadows were merely waiting for their time to return. The waters of the flood eventually receded, and a new world began to emerge. But the Book of Enoch suggests that the darkness was not entirely erased. The giants were gone, their physical bodies destroyed, but their spirits, the disembodied essence of the Nephilim, were condemned to wander the earth as shadows, as demons. They remain here, according to the ancient text, as invisible whispers, tempting the hearts of men and waiting for their moment to rise again. The book itself was hidden, passed down through secret lineages, until it was finally removed from the official records of the world. For centuries, it was a forbidden ghost, a memory that the authorities tried to burn. But truth is like a seed buried deep in the soil. It only waits for the right time to break through the surface. Today, we are rediscovering these warnings. We are looking back at the era of the Watchers to understand the chaos of our own time. The echoes of the antediluvian world are still vibrating in the foundations of our civilization. We have opened the first seal of the Forbidden Codex. The story of Enoch is only the beginning of a much larger journey into the secrets that were meant to remain hidden. If you feel the weight of this history, if you seek the truth that lies beneath the surface, then you are now a guardian of this knowledge. In our next archive, we will travel forward in time to unravel the mystery of a woman whose name was tarnished, but whose power was feared by the highest ranks of the church. We will reveal the hidden gospel of Mary Magdalene and the secret she carried that could have changed the world forever. Do not let the shadows cloud your vision. Subscribe to join our circle of seekers and activate the notification bell so you never miss a revelation. The vault is closing for now, but the light of the Codex never fades. Thank you for walking among the ancient mysteries with us. Until next time, remember, the most dangerous secrets are the ones they told you were only myths.